As you mentioned, I'm Siidhart Naithani, Senior Advisor for ICT and Data for South Asia. I was basically with Business Finland till we merged with the MFA around 2 months ago, but the role remains the same. Essentially, what we're doing is we're helping Finnish companies make inroads into the, well, I shouldn't say just the Indian market, but it's more or less the South Asian market. But, you know, India itself is a massive, massive country. You know, I always say it's like a continent. Each state has its own language and food and culture and business culture. So it's quite an interesting challenge to help different companies across different sectors enter the Indian market. So what do we do? It's pretty straightforward. We help Finnish companies find end customers and resellers. We're basically going around to Indian companies and saying, what are the types of partners and solutions that you haven't been able to find in the Indian market? What are the solutions that you haven't been able to sort of create on your own? And then our role is to basically, you know, we have our network, our diaspora of solutions and companies in the Finnish market that we try and merge with the Indian side. So sectorally, I'm covering everything from space, media, gaming, fintech, telecommunications, and the entire gamut. But the creative arts, more specifically gaming and music, is something that that I've been tasked with, and it's one of the more interesting sectors that I must admit I work on. So it's been really interesting over the past few years looking at this. I'll kickstart with sort of a broad macro level view of the Indian market. You know, we must keep in mind that India is a mobile-first streaming native market. We sort of skipped the digital era of the desktop and went directly to smartphones and cheap data. So companies from Finland need to realize that their products, formats, and UX must be optimized for mobile-first consumption. You know, in terms of demographics, it's one of the youngest populations globally. Data is very, very cheap, and everyone here from a rickshaw puller to a CEO of a company is basically on their phone all the time. So Finnish companies need to keep that in mind. In terms of music and media, the second point I'd noted was that regional languages are a big scale because each state, as I mentioned earlier on, is the size of a medium-sized European economy. So even though Bollywood / the North Indian music industry of Hindi is well known, there's regional languages: Telugu, Kannada, Tamil, Punjabi. So each of these regions is its own ecosystem, its own stakeholders, basically. So I would say any entities looking, or artists, I should say, looking at entering the Indian market, you know, try not to do everything all at once. It's okay to basically choose one region and take it from there as well. So I wouldn't say each region is a niche, but a market on its own as well. The next one I wanted to say was films, gaming, and advertising drive music monetization. So unlike many Western markets, such as Finland, films, OTT genres, games, and brands are primary commissioners of music. Soundtracks often actually outperform standalone releases. So Finnish companies should really be looking at B2B partnerships as well. And that's something, as I mentioned at the start, that the MFA can help with. Similar to my first point, the creator economy is actually overtaking the traditional label powers. It's fueled by independent artists, YouTube, Instagram creators, and gaming streamers. The numbers of users and followers are really going up through the roof. So now, compared to say even 10 or 5 years ago, even in advertisements and movies, you'll see a lot of these creators who've come up from scratch, more and more relevant in mainstream media as well, whether it's advertisements, music, or movies as well. So that's something that international companies should keep an eye on as well. And finally, India is obviously price sensitive, but volume driven. This is something not just in the music industry, but across the other sectors that I always focus on as well. Pre-user revenues are lower, but scale generally compensates for that as well. So I'd written down premium models, ad-supported tiers, and brand integrations are ways to actually get money back. So I would recognize that get a foot in the door, get a few B2B partnerships, really leverage that scale of potential Indian partners, and then take it from there as well. So, not to try and basically boil the entire ocean at once. In terms of music companies and major record labels, there are a lot of them. Saregama India, T-Series Limited, Sony Music, Universal Music, Times Music, and they range in terms of what they're known for. There's licensing music heritage, there's film deals, remix projects, audiovisual tie-ins, which is a big one for us in the past few years as well, and of course licensing for Indian films and television projects as well. So there's a lot of ways that actually collabs can happen with these larger companies as well. And apart from the larger companies as well, there's obviously streaming platforms as well. JioSaavn being one of the larger local ones. Spotify India, of course, does exist. Ghana as well. So these are ideal for playlist collaborations, curated content, and Indian catalog distribution as well. One point was I wanted to quickly make was there's rights and industries bodies, the Indian music industry, of course, they're strategic partners with policy insights, copyright frameworks, and industry networking as well. So they've been hosting a lot of events in the past, and that's something which I'm excited to plug in the Finnish ecosystem for as well. And one more point I wanted to make was in terms of how Finnish companies can really collaborate. So as I was mentioning earlier on, it's not just about Bollywood or Mumbai. There's regional ecosystems to be tapped into, and apart from the streaming companies as well, and the labels that I mentioned, there could be licensing and sync partnerships, co-releases and digital distributions, tech and innovation, artist exchanges. The core songwriting competition is actually a fantastic example of that as well, and streaming and mobile experiences. In terms of artist management agencies, again, we're connected to them. So if you're looking to not just look at IP licensing, but also artists entering the Indian market and performing across the country, I've made a note that Team Innovation is probably the biggest artist management agency here. They look at music of all genres. Skillbox is known for its metal, and I realize Finland is known for its metal industry. Gently Altered is a mix, and Paradox is an electronic music sort of focused agency as well. So overall, there's a lot of ecosystems you tapped into, a lot of types of partnerships that can happen. And as I was saying at the start, I'm here to help. I'm here to support, whether you're an industry body, a company looking to write licensed music, or have a lot of artists which are wondering about, hey, the Indian market looks interesting. Where do I start? So we're happy to sort of point them to the right direction as well. So happy to be of any assistance of any type, and make inroads into the Indian market for you. So please do stay in touch, and of course I think my contact details will be available with Anna and the team for after this as well. So thanks so much.